Hey everyone, it's time for day 6 of Alone with You. Last time we didn't get to explore, we just spent some time in the hollow chamber with, what was her name, Winnie, and we were looking at the Aurora Borealis and just talking about our feelings, I guess, in a very shallow way. So this time we'll see what happens. Corey's asking, what did you think of that special simulation last night? Well, I don't want to hurt his feelings, so I'll tell him it was great. That is wonderful to hear. I thought you could use a pick-me-up after the stress of last week. In any case, a week has already passed, and as the increasing storm activity has shown, our situation remains difficult. We still have a lot of work to do. Come see me in the core so we can get started once again. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Actually, let's get a progress report, because this is the first time we didn't really do anything the previous day. So, what will it say? I imagine you are as thankful as I am that the storm didn't damage the escape ship in any way. That would have been a terrible setback. I should mention, in her work report today, Miss Laurier seemed particularly energized. It was as if she had something to prove. So maybe they lose their drive if I don't visit them or something. And I have to balance who I talk to with, like, if I don't talk to them enough, they won't do their work and I'll die when I'm trying to escape or something. With a week already gone, we need to step things up a bit. The recent storm has me worried. The holograms have made some progress with the escape ship, but it just isn't ready yet. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to send you out again this week. There are some resources we badly need. We can access the medical wing of Colony B, which might let us get some necessary medical supplies. You can also head to Tower E of the comms relay, where we can try to send a distress signal deep into space. Another facility of the agrodomes is open. We need to head there to find a way to extend your food supply. And you can also reach the Caves refinery now. It's imperative that we find more fuel for the ship if possible. As always, the choice is yours. You can plot a course to any one of these locales from the shuttle bay. So it seems like a lot of places have opened up to us. Or, I guess, additional areas within the places we've already been, for the most part. Yeah, we still can't go to this place where we haven't been before. But we can go to the agrodomes again, the caves again, Colony B again, or the comms station again. I feel like if we just send a signal out into space, I mean, there's not that much chance someone will get it. Colony B, what did Corey say was there again? Medical supplies? Hopefully we won't need those, but I mean, okay, I guess we'll go there eventually. The caves, that will give us more fuel, which probably we need. And then agrodomes is more food, which we probably need as well. Let's go with the domes, because it might lead to us talking to Leslie again. think she's next in the rotation. So on this loading screen, I can move the van in each direction, but that's about it. In case you were wondering, like, why isn't he doing any cool tricks or anything like that? It's because I can't. I definitely would do the tricks if I could. Anyway, according to her records, Miss Bharadwaj stated that the research dome was one of her favorite places. It was also one of the colony's most important facilities. The research here allowed major advances in food processing efficiencies. Hopefully, you can find some research that might help us extend your food supply for the journey back to Earth. Yeah, that would be good. More food is always a good thing. This decontamination chamber seems to be working. That's a good sign. It should be finished momentarily. Now, there is a rare site here on Epsilon Eridani B. This outer dome was used for testing researched species. It was originally a much more structured, lab-like environment, but over the years, Ms. B transformed it into this garden. If I recall correctly, she and I debated the merits of such an environment. She stated that having the garden wasn't just about science, it was about something more human. I regret that I did not fully understand at the time. So I guess she kind of wanted to have a nice garden type area to remind people of Earth and give them some nice plants to look at, I guess. It's probably more for her than anybody else if I were to speculate. Place has some funky little music. There's kind of a track layered on top of it that sounds like someone like tapping along to the music or something. I'm reading a high concentration of foreign air particles from the lab on the west side of that research dome. I think you should check that out first. Whatever you say, Corey. All the stuff you want me to collect is always the boring stuff. I'm always after whatever additional content or flavor text we can get. It's a portable analyzer of some kind. I'm not sure what use it would be right now, so please keep looking around. Okay, it looks like we have 3 different doors. Let's start with the one on the left. We've got some grow tubes. The tubes are filled with various plants and chemical test environments. It was faster to do multiple tests at once to improve production. That tube was breached and the plant inside has mutated somewhat. Toxins from the tube environment must have escaped into this room. That terminal still has some local data that didn't get properly synced with the colony network. It looked like Miss Hainsworth and Mr. Jagger? Let's say Jaeger, it's funner. Continued with their private conversation regarding Miss B's leadership capabilities. Ashley. So I had it out with her. With Bharadwaj. You did? What happened? We had quite a row. Was surprised actually, but in the end she agreed with me. I don't know if she wanted to, you know. That irritating sense of duty she has. Arlo. Holy. I can't believe you did it. So that's it then? We're going to proceed with your research plan? Ashley. Looks like we'll show her, Arlo. No more pussyfooting around. We'll get this done. Fast. Better than with her restrictive rules. Arlo. I just hope we're making the right decision here. Things have been so crazy lately. I hope we can come back from this. I wonder what they did with the boss's grudging approval. Oh, we got a dead body here. Body of Ashley Hainsworth. My scan indicates that this is the corpse of Chief Genetics researcher Ashley Hainsworth. The skeletal remains are consistent with the osteoporosis she suffered. It appears Miss Hainsworth used exo braces to regain some mobility as her legs were severely affected. The braces remain on the skeleton. Miss Hainsworth was manually writing notes on her research here. They read, I finally confronted Bharadwaj about her inability to lead with direction. We had a pretty heated argument. I'll be honest, I didn't think the chief had it in her. She clung to the hopeless belief that the team would see things through. I thought she would never give up, but after a while she came back and told me she thought I might be right. To think of it, after all this time. But she made me agree not to tell the rest of the team of her acquiescence, to not disrupt her precious ecosystem. Well, you gotta acquiesce sometimes. So I've got them using the portable analyzer to test our newly grown samples. That's it for her personal notes. Perhaps we should see if there are any other research documents. These notes contain specifics on Miss Hainsworth's research. They indicate she was combining trace amounts of the toxin with other elements. According to this, she was trying to run more experiments at once than Miss Bharadwaj approved to in an attempt to save time. Tests progressing faster than expected, she wrote. Miss Hainsworth focused on bryophyte plants to isolate those first. Man, having a hard time reading this stuff. As soon as I see science words, my brain is like, oh no. Do you know what a bryophyte is? Not at all. Bryophytes are land plants without vascular systems. They don't produce seeds or flowers. Moss is a good example. The team must have been trying to isolate which plants were most susceptible to carrying the toxin, to understand how it traveled. Miss Hainsworth was focused on bryophytes, specifically mosses, but her research is incomplete. We can get a couple of samples, perhaps we can finish it. Look around the dome, see if you can find some equipment that looks like a bulky laptop, a portable analyzer. I have an idea. We already found that laptop, dude, and you told me ignore it. Alright, let's go get the laptop. This thing? There you go, that analyzer already has data on it from Miss Hainsworth's experiments. But we can use it to continue her work. We can figure out how the toxin works more specifically. Maybe I can protect your food supply for the journey home. Take the analyzer out to the garden. Hopefully we can find a way to hook it up and find some specimens. Oh, the north lab isn't the garden. Is the east lab the garden? Nope. Is the west lab the garden? I Well, they would call it the garden then, wouldn't it? Wouldn't they? So, yeah, maybe they meant out. Wait. That was the door I came in through. And that place wasn't called a garden before. Oh wait, I forgot I went through this room. Okay, I am dumb. So, okay, we're in the garden, which I forgot existed. Now what? Can we analyze these berries, or whatever they are? Apples? They look pretty small. Okay, the analyzer is connected and online. What we need to do is find samples from Miss Hainsworth's field of research. So let's start by finding some samples of bryophytes. Remember, plants without vascular systems, mosses for the most part. There must be samples in the garden. Find and scan 3 of them. That should give us enough data for the analyzer. Alright, where can I find some moss? That looks like moss. Sample is small, but there is Olecomnium palustre there. This ribbed bog moss will suit our bryophyte test. You've scanned some Sphagnum centrale, otherwise known as common peat moss. Good work. This is a bryophyte we can use to test. Man, I'm great at finding moss. Where's the last moss, though? On the tree? Where the moss at? Oh, on this tree. You found a healthy patch of Polytrichum juniperinum, juniper moss. This is indeed a bryophyte we can use to test. Well, that makes 3 samples. Use the portable analyzer to process them. Good, I've got the data from these bryophyte plants now. I'll be able to run simulations and tests back here. I think we're onto something. Head to the north lab inside the dome and see what was being worked on there. Do I just leave this laptop here then? Alright, north lab. What do we got here? Is that just a lab coat with nobody in it? The ruined coat contains trace elements of dust and debris from the surrounding wreckage. I can also see some DNA around one of the cuffs. The coat belonged to geneticist Dale Zurikowski. There are small food wrappers in the pocket, as well as a small, worn, folded up photograph. Who keeps food wrappers in their pocket? I mean, at least, well, maybe they caught him like right as he was on his way to the trash can or something. But why put it in your pocket? You're just gonna get crumbs in your pocket, dude. I mean, okay. Let me know in the comments if you keep food wrappers in your pocket and why, if you do. And do you end up with crumbs in your pockets when you do it? The photo depicts the dome staff looking tired after what was probably a long day. In it are Leslie Baradwaj, Ashley Hainsworth, Florent Marchand, Mr. Zurikowski, and Matsuko Bradley. In the photo, Mr. Zurikowski appears to be looking at Miss Bradley, one of the other geneticists on the team. Why do you think he's doing this? How could I know? I can't see the photo. I just heard your description of it. He could be looking at her with a look of jealousy, or maybe with flirtatious eyes. Who knows? I mean, but if someone's taking a photo and you're not looking like at the camera, then that's something is off here. Like, that doesn't, I don't think that happens in real life, but I think in media, generally what that means is somebody likes somebody else or plans to murder them. One of the two. Let's say he likes her. Well now, do you really think so? So this photo might have captured what was intended to be a private moment of longing. Very interesting. I mean, I don't know. That's pure speculation based on a photo I did not see. So these notes were by Dale Zurikowski, one of the other geneticists. It appears he was working under Miss Hainsworth's direction. Pterophyte strains 1 through 4, no conclusive results, it says. There's a chart that indicates more tests were intended. So Mr. Zurikowski was focused on pterophyte plants from the domes. Do you remember what a pterophyte is? Dude, I'm not a botanist, so no, I don't. Unlike a bryophyte, a pterophyte plant does have a vascular system, but no flowers. It uses spores to reproduce. Good examples are ferns and what are sometimes called horsetails. Important elements to Earth-like ecosystems. We need to complete Mr. Zurikowski's research so we can be sure our food systems are safe. Let's deal with those pterophyte plants. The analyzer is already hooked up, so let's return to the garden and find some specimens. Yeah, you'll get your specimens. Let's see if there's anything else in here first, though. Terminal's local storage has been severely damaged, but it can still read external media, such as data cards. Alright, good to know. If we find any floppy disks, we will bring them here. I got an 8.5-inch floppy for you. Wait a minute, this isn't where you need to go. Oh, right. He wanted me to go to the garden. I can't explore where I want to. Alright, so we have to find pterophytes, which are like ferns and fern-like things. And horsetails, he said. Scan some Equisetum arvens, otherwise known as field horsetail. Good work. This is a pteridophyte we can use to test. Alright, whatever you say, nerd. Found a healthy patch of Asplenium scolopendrium, a cristata fern. This is indeed a pteridophyte we can use to test. Asplenium. I got plenty of ass right here. Wait. Does that mean... Never mind. Good choice. This tree fern, or Chibadium cumingi, will make a good specimen. This scan will help us in our test. That's 3. That should be good enough. Use the portable analyzer to process the samples. Finally. Processed and received the data from the pteridophyte plants you scanned. Hopefully this will help with our food supply issues. There's only one area left. Head to the East Lab and let's complete our mission. I would love to complete our mission. Alright, we got another log. There are extensive notes, quite neatly organized on another type of plant. These appear to be by Ms. Matsuko Bradley, another geneticist at the time. Like with the previous research, there is no real recorded success. Ms. Bradley wrote, despite large angiosperm sample population, have not yet isolated toxin. Ms. Bradley was tasked with testing angiosperm species of plants. Are you familiar with angiosperms? That is the first of these terms that has been familiar to me, but I'm not gonna lie and say I know exactly what it is, so, just tell me. Miss Bradley was narrowing her search to deciduous plants, those with vascular systems, the ability to produce flowers. If she was looking at angiosperms, there are likely samples such as trees, crops, and deciduous plants in the garden. Let's try the portable analyzer one more time. We can configure it for angiosperms and find some specimens to scan. Not before we explore this place. Got another damaged terminal. Got a data card. Standard 2D data card. That makes sense. Often researchers made manual backups as well as allowing me to store things on the network. There have been so many disruptions since this all started. So much useful data has been rendered useless or inaccessible, especially since I lost contact with Colony B. If you can find a terminal that still has a functioning card port, you might be able to read it. Well, good thing I did find one of those in the next room. So we'll see what that says before we go, well, we'll do it right now. There's nothing else to look at. Reading the data card now. It's a bit slow since the terminal is in such poor repair. I don't think that's how computers work. Success! The data card contains several research document backups that don't seem to pertain to the task at hand. However, there's a personal file here called Matt Brad plog 024. It reads, research could be going better. Everyone's under the gun. Ashley's pushing harder each day. We know the stakes, but still she flexes her muscles. Did she have nice muscles? Wasn't she the one with like messed up bones and had to walk using like some sort of leg braces? Something tells me she doesn't have that impressive of muscles. Unless, I guess maybe if the bone troubles and leg braces made her feel like she had something to prove, like she went hard at the gym and like had big old guns. That'd be something. Anyway, I get the sense she has more than just survival riding on this new line of experiments. She has pride and a need to prove she was right. I don't really know to whom. Dale has been getting a little close lately. Sometimes I feel at ease when we do relax together, but then suddenly I'll feel as if I'm the experiment. He's sweet, but a little intense. He's an excellent geneticist, though, and we need him. Now more than ever. Seems like this Dale dude liked her a little more than she liked him. I mean, it seems like she wasn't like completely uninterested, but like he was going too hard. He was too intense, giving off creeper vibes. You can't come on too strong. I mean, from what I hear, women like a man who's like a bit aloof, and they seem like you know, not too interested. Just give them a little bit of flirtiness, and then see what happens from there. Not that I'm an expert or anything like that. Anyway, Corey says, here we go. Let's find 3 samples of angiosperms and use the analyzer when you're done. Apple tree. It was apples! Of course, what better angiosperm than a tree ripe with apples? This scan will help us in our test. I don't know what else is an angiosperm. Oh, I guess, is this... I was gonna say corn, but maize is pretty similar, so I wasn't completely wrong. Until, like, somebody who does know about plants is like, maize is completely different than corn. It's not even similar at all. If that's the case, then feel free to roast me in the comments. Teach me about corn and maize. But until then, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep saying that they're very similar, because that's, to my knowledge, that's the case. I haven't studied plants in quite a long time, but anyway. Right you are, these fading stalks of maize are a bit old, but they should provide the angiosperm we can use to test. I didn't sign up for collecting any kind of sperm here, Corey. If you needed sperm, you could have asked up front. Right. Looks like Miss Bardwatch was testing a few varieties. Thankfully, some beans have survived. This is indeed an angiosperm we can use to test. Okay, that should be enough samples. Finally. I gotta say, the whole like collecting samples thing in these plant areas, it's kind of a chore. I mean, it's not that bad if you're not reading all the dialogue out loud. I'm sure you could get through this much faster, and it wouldn't feel like such a slog, but it's a little bit slow for me, and I'm sure for you as well. Anyway, excellent. I've got the data from the angiosperms. That's the last piece of data we needed. I can run a full suite of tests here now. Hope we have better success than the Agrodome's crew did. Might take me a few days to complete my simulations, but it's something. Yeah, let's see if in half an hour we can do better work than a team of trained professionals. That makes a whole lot of sense. It's unfortunate that this facility was so greatly compromised. I only hope we can make use of the work that went on here. Though I imagine that garden must be a welcome change from the corridors of the colony, we must continue our work if we are to escape. So when you're ready, please head back to the shuttle and come back home. With pleasure, Corey. Alright. So it took maybe a little bit longer than the initial exploration sections. Except for maybe the garden one. I think the garden one last time was took a little bit longer because I had to figure out that password from the guy that hates his job. But I don't think I took that long for that one. Oh, Corey wants to see me. I guess I'm in trouble. Sent to the principal's office. What up? Okay, all the data you collected is synced and ready to be worked on. You did well out there. Since you went to the Agrodomes, you'll be able to visit Miss Bardwatch in the Hollow Sim Chamber tonight. You can retire to your quarters when you're ready. I'll call for you when the Hollow Sim Chamber is available. Okay, so anytime we go explore a place, we have no choice but to talk to the person that worked there, I guess. Which is fine. I mean, we want to give everybody a decent amount of attention. It's time. The Hollow Sim Chamber is ready for you now. Just head in when you're ready. Have a good evening. You have a good evening too, Corey. I wonder, when Corey's in standby mode, is he inactive? Does he dream of electric sheep, or something else, of killing all humans? Sounds nice, killing all humans. Hello again. I'm just over here trying out a few new strains of vegetables. What happened with you today? Huh, what did happen? We checked out the garden. I don't know if I'd call that a whole lot. I would just say the usual these days. I suppose you and I have very different definitions of usual. But you were at the research dome, weren't you? I want to hear all about that. I will tell you all about it. You know, that dome was my pride and joy, and my favorite place in the whole colony. I probably spent more time there than I should have, but I loved it so much. When those vines began to develop and ruin everything, the Agrodome's labs were thoroughly corrupted. It took a while longer before the research dome became affected. Without access to the main grow dome and its equipment, we were forced to use what we had on hand, but the vines hadn't reached the garden yet, so we had a bit more time. But you saw it for yourself. I'm curious, did you find anything that might help with our mission? I mean, we collected a bunch of data. That might help, right? I see. I can see the data you scanned now. So that's what we were up to in there. You didn't even know what you were Oh yeah, the holograms are based on incomplete data. So I guess it didn't save what they were up to in their final days. Biggest issue I remember was how difficult it was to get the results fast enough. That was the main point of contention between Ashley and me. I was adamant that we needed proper protocols since we were essentially getting one last good chance to do something. She thought that speed was more important. You see, by the time we went to the research dome, our connection to the AI was tenuous. The atmospheric interference, the lack of power, we could only check in occasionally. Did you find anything else in that garden that might help us? I found Ashley's dead body. Would it improve your morale to know that she was dead? Oh no, I am so sorry to hear that. Despite our differences, I never wished Ashley any harm. Dang, I guess I shouldn't have said something then. As I mentioned last time, Ashley and I had our disagreements, but she was a damn good scientist. At least, before we all got desperate. And while Ashley was a valuable member of the team, she was also very ambitious. I don't think I was very good at managing her or her ambitions. You seem to be dealing with the pressure of this whole situation well. How do you do it? I just have to, honestly. I see. I guess that makes sense. You're all that's left, just you and the AI. Did you find anything else in the garden that might help us? I don't think the team photo will help. I mean, maybe it'll improve your morale. Oh my, that is interesting. I remember this photo, but now that I see it again, the way Dale was looking at Matsuko... Well, the way she's described in the photo, it sounds like maybe Dale was like sexually harassing her or something. But let's see what she has to say about Dale. Dale was such an excellent researcher. I think Hudson Cartier loved him for the position. He was so studious, so dedicated. They probably considered him pretty low maintenance. And you know, to be perfectly frank, I never even considered he could express such an interest. What am I... Maybe I'm dyslexic. Anyway, let alone in a coworker. He just never let on. He was strictly about his work. But Matsuko was beautiful and very smart. I guess she was the one that got through to him, woke him up, so to speak. Can't say I blame him for his affection. Why would you blame him, though? Like, unless it was unwelcome attention and it caused problems. So my options are, hey, you can't, and I suppose. I'm gonna say you can't. Well, sure, a guy like him working day and night with a natural beauty like her, even without the stress, it's only natural he would fall for her. You know, the one thing about our team that I always noticed was that we were all so very different. Different kinds of families, very different personalities. We were like a garden in a way, our own little ecosystem. It's almost as if the company was trying to meet some sort of diversity quotas and picked people of all sorts of different backgrounds and ethnicities. I don't know, maybe I was the problem. I could never create that balance that we needed to succeed. I don't think that it was really her fault. I mean, it seems like most of the things that went wrong were because of this disaster, this natural disaster that happened on this planet. So, I don't know why she blames herself, but I'm gonna say you're wrong because there's no use in her continuing to feel shitty about, like, being a bad leader or whatever. You really think so? That's awfully sweet of you. It just feels like I was the one who didn't make it all work, you know? Nah, it's not your fault, kid. But listen, I actually have been meaning to ask you something. When you finally escape and get back home, what are you gonna do? Go up again, settle down, travel. I don't know. I mean, my guy doesn't really seem to have a personality as far as the game has shown. Maybe it's just supposed to literally be me in that place. In which case, if I got stranded in a colonization mission, I probably would not volunteer to go up on another one. Like, you know, I think I would have earned a nice secure life. So, I'll probably settle down. Yes, I can see how that would be attractive. After all this, I imagine some peace and stability would be necessary. You said it. I think Hudson Cartier has rules about what happens to crews when they return. Psyche evals, debriefing, that sort of thing. And who knows what's changed since we've been gone? Public opinion, government regulation. All of it could affect colonization attempts, among other things. With our situation as it is, I wonder how much data they even have on what's happened. Perhaps almost nothing. After 16 years, wow, it'll almost be like you're returning from the dead. I'm sure so much will be different. Well, in the meantime, if you end up at the Agrodomes again, can you do me a little favor, since I won't be able to myself? Can you let me know if you find out what happened to Matsuko and Dale? Now you've got me thinking all about them. Yeah, I can try, if I end up there. I understand, if you find time for it, it would really mean a lot, but I understand if you can't. I think it's probably time for you to get some rest and for me to take some of this new information and get back to working on supplying your ship. It's nice to know that this simulated garden isn't the only bright point I have. Your visits, they're really what keeps me going. They're really what keep me going. Until next time, please stay safe out there. Well, that's that. So, we found some more plant samples, talked to the plant lady about her crew stuff. I mean, not the most eventful day in the world, but yeah, we'll see what the next day brings. Maybe more interesting stories about these space people. We'll see what happens. Until then, thanks for watching and take care.